John Lennon was more than just a musician. He was a cultural icon. As a founding member of the Beatles, Lennon's music became the soundtrack of a generation. His songs, brimming with poetic depth and social commentary, made him much more than a pop star. He was a voice of change. His life was cut short in a way that shocked the world. On December 8, 1980, he was fatally shot outside his apartment in New York City. Today we uncover his last words, and it's like hearing his voice again, a voice that has never really been silent. Join us as we reveal a piece of history that has remained hidden for over 4 decades. Facts First presents John Lennon's final words revealed 43 years after his death. Life and legacy. John Lennon's story transcends the boundaries of fame. It's an odyssey of transformation, boundless creativity, and an unwavering commitment to instigate change. Born October 9, 1940, in Liverpool, England, Lennon's formative years were riddled with familial discord and an aura of uncertainty. However, these tumultuous times didn't dampen his spirit. Instead, they fueled his refuge in music, a sanctuary that not only defined his existence, but also left an indelible mark on the world. The journey to stardom for Lennon began with the Beatles, a band destined to revolutionize the soundscape of popular music. As a visionary songwriter and charismatic co-lead vocalist, Lennon, in collaboration with Paul McCartney, forged one of the most iconic and successful songwriting duos ever. The Beatles' ascent to stardom in the swinging 60s was nothing short of astronomical. With timeless classics like Help, Yesterday, and Let It Be, they didn't just create music, they became the beating heart of a cultural renaissance, capturing the imaginations and hearts of millions across the globe. But Lennon's identity was not confined to being a Beatle. His solo career, heralded by masterpieces like Imagine and John Lennon Plastic Ono Band, unraveled the layers of his artistry. His songs became mirrors reflecting his innermost thoughts and philosophies, often intertwined with themes of peace, love, and a fervent call for social justice. Lennon bravely wielded his fame as a platform for activism, emerging as a pivotal figure in the anti-war crusade and other humanitarian causes. Equally significant in his life was his partnership with Yoko Ono, a fusion of romantic and artistic endeavors that defied the norms of their era. Together, they became symbols of peace and love, staging bed-ins for peace and collaborating on numerous artistic projects. John's life and career were a tapestry of pioneering music, spearheading cultural movements, and a relentless pursuit of a utopian world. His unwavering message of hope and unity, embedded in his music and his actions, continues to resonate and inspire. Even decades after his tragic departure, Lennon's legacy lives on, echoing through the corridors of time. The tragic end. December 8, 1980 marks a dark chapter in the history of music, the day when the world lost John Lennon in the most tragic of circumstances. Lennon's life, filled with music, love, and activism, was abruptly and brutally ended outside the Dakota, his New York City apartment building. That evening, as Lennon returned home with Yoko Ono, he was confronted by David Chapman, a man who had once admired Lennon but had grown disillusioned. In a chilling turn of events, Chapman shot Lennon 4 times in the back. The shooting was not just an attack on Lennon, but a blow to the ideals he stood for: peace, love, and understanding. Lennon was rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, but the injuries were too severe. The news of his death sent shockwaves around the world. Fans gathered in spontaneous vigils, mourning the loss of an icon who had shaped the cultural and musical landscape of the era. The act of violence brought an end to Lennon's journey, but it couldn't silence his message. Even in his absence, Lennon's legacy continues to live on. His music and ideals still echoing in the hearts of millions. The world lost a symbol that day of hope and a voice for change. John Lennon's haunting final words. The final words of John Lennon, uttered mere moments after he was tragically shot outside his New York City apartment, have been a subject of much speculation and sorrow for decades. Now, 43 years after his untimely death, new insights into those last moments provide a deeper understanding of the tragedy that unfolded December 8, 1980. John was just 40 at the time and was returning to his apartment in the Dakota, a landmark building in Manhattan's Upper West Side, after a recording session with Yoko Ono. This session, of course, would unknowingly be his last. Jay Hastings, working as a concierge at the Dakota, witnessed the harrowing moments that followed. As Lennon staggered past him, bleeding and in shock, he uttered, "I'm shot," before collapsing. Hastings recalls Lennon's blood coming out of his mouth as he collapsed on the floor. In a frantic state, Hastings half-rolled Lennon onto his back, removing his glasses, while Yoko's screams for an ambulance pierced the night. The shooter, Mark David Chapman, had earlier that day encountered Lennon, asking him to autograph a copy of the album Double Fantasy, recorded with Ono. Hours later, Chapman, battling his own mental health challenges, committed to the irreversible act. In his confession, Chapman described a voice in his head urging him to do it, do it. This chilling command led him to fire 5 shots with a .38 caliber handgun, hitting Lennon 4 times in the back. A nearby taxi driver, Richard Peterson, witnessed the shooting, initially mistaking it for a movie scene, not realizing the gravity of what he was seeing until it was tragically too late. Chapman, after the shooting, sat down on a nearby curb, reading The Catcher in the Rye until his arrest. He later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 20 years to life sentence at Greenhaven Correctional Facility in New York. Lennon's final words, simple yet heart-wrenching, reflected the suddenness and brutality of his death. They stand as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the profound impact of a single moment. His passing left the world in mourning, as fans and fellow artists grappled with the loss of a music icon who had championed peace and love. The night of Lennon's death marked not just a personal tragedy for his family and friends, but a collective heartbreak for his global fan base. His music, which had always resonated with themes of hope and humanity, suddenly took on a new depth of poignancy. The man who had asked the world to imagine a place of harmony was taken in an act of senseless violence. In the days and weeks that followed, tributes poured in from around the world. Vigils were held, songs were sung, and Lennon's music echoed through streets and homes, a testament to his enduring influence. His former Beatles bandmate Paul McCartney was left speechless when first asked about Lennon's death, later expressing his deep sorrow through music and public statements. Yoko Ono, Lennon's widow, emerged as a figure of strength in the wake of this tragedy. She called for an end to gun violence, urging people to remember Lennon for his message of peace. Her resilience and advocacy kept Lennon's vision alive and inspired many to carry on his legacy. Decades later, the impact of John Lennon's final words and his untimely demise continues to thunder through the music industry and beyond. His life and work remain a powerful influence, inspiring new generations of musicians and peace activists. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Beatles or John Lennon song? Let us know in the comments section below.